Gentlemen, Dr. Lewis here. The enemy is always sugar. Now I will sing this to your ears every day until it sinks into your head. Today, I am excited to bring you a topic that most men have asked me to talk about, and that is man-boobs. What is the cause of man-boobs? How can you reverse man-boobs? Are there supplements that can reverse man-boobs? Is there any exercise that can reverse man-boobs? Are we having any patches or injections that are there to help you reverse man-boobs? Answers will be in this video. So welcome as we talk about man-boobs. So we've both heard about estrogen and testosterone and their role in man-boobs. Most of you have even had Google searches, and every time you try to find information about man-boobs and even obesity, you will find all the issues running down to the two hormones. However, those two hormones are not the cause of man-boobs, not even the facial hairs in women. What causes man-boobs is totally insulin resistance. Now I want to explain something to you very briefly so that you get to understand, and if you're told you're having man-boobs, you will know how to reverse it. Anytime you consume carbohydrates, as I always say, you will break them down, you will absorb them in form of glucose or the simplest sugars possible. Now once that happens, your blood sugar level starts to go up. Then what happens? Your pancreas is instructed to produce a hormone called insulin to help you regulate these blood sugar levels that are going up, so it brings them down. And how does it do that? It pumps that blood glucose into the cells so that they can be utilized or broken down into ATP to give you energy currency of the cells. So that is the function of insulin. However, as you continue eating your carbohydrates, you continue raising that insulin, those spikes of insulin in your system, then these cells get filled with the glucose to a point that this insulin, however much it is rising, this glucose that is in the bloodstream cannot be pumped into these cells anymore because they are full. They don't need more. So the stores of glucose are now filled, either as fat or even some is stored as glycogen in the liver and in the muscles. So once we reach to a point where fat cells are full, because insulin keeps on storing fat in the cells in terms of energy, in forms of energy, then that is the point that is called insulin resistance. Now that is where the problem begins, because once we have insulin resistance, we will experience all these issues, the metabolic syndrome, and above all, we will now experience formation of man-boobs. Okay? Now, man-boobs and gynecomastia are not the same. Man-boobs are pseudo-gynecomastia. Gynecomastia happens in adolescents who are just trying to get into their puberty and then disappears on its own. Sometimes it can be caused by drugs like ketoconazole. However, this man-boobs is a pseudo-gynecomastia. Now, we've gotten into insulin resistance, and the hormone that is responsible for man or male sexual characteristics, the secondary male sexual characteristics, is basically testosterone. In the other gender, in the other sexes, is estrogen. Estrogen is a female hormone that is responsible for the secondary female sexual characteristics. Now, the major function of this estrogen is to deposit fat in organs or in the parts where it is supposed to be in women. That has to be the breasts, that has to be the hips and the buttocks. Now, testosterone gives men the broad shoulders, the deep voice, and all these secondary characteristics. And therefore, if testosterone levels start to go down, then men, estrogen levels start to go up. When estrogen starts to go up, you start to experience feminine characteristics, the growth of those buttocks and the hips, the growth of man-boobs. However, estrogen is not the problem. The problem is insulin resistance. So in the system, naturally, both men and women have the two hormones. Okay, so women have more estrogen than testosterone, and vice versa. Men have more testosterone than estrogen. Now, there is a hormone, or there's an enzyme in the system that is called aromatase. And aromatase naturally converts testosterone into estrogen. And how does that happen? So, if you have testosterone, this enzyme converts it to estrogen. Now, in men, you have high levels of testosterone. And if you're consuming the carbohydrates all the time, and then you get into insulin resistance, now this is where the problem comes in, because this insulin that is rising in your blood, remember in insulin resistance, you have high amounts of insulin in the blood, but it's not functional because the cells are resistant to the insulin. So the rising amounts of insulin in blood activate, actually they are the ones that regulate the enzyme called aromatase. So imagine this, a man who has constantly been eating or chronically been eating carbohydrates, those wheat products, those restaurant foods, those processed carbohydrates, the snacks, you got into insulin resistance, and then your testosterone levels start being converted to estrogen with the aid of the insulin that is rising in your blood. That will give you the man boobs. That will give you prostate enlargement, because the high amounts of estrogen in men, estrogen is an anabolic hormone, which means it builds up things. So the estrogen will build up fat in the breasts or in the boobs, and therefore you get the man boobs. Estrogen will build up fat on the hips, so you just get that hip. Estrogen will build up the cells in the testicles, not in the testicles, in the prostate, and that will give you an enlarged prostate. So you'll have difficulties in urination, because that prostate, as it builds up, it blocks the urethra, and therefore you cannot pass urine. And then, above all, the cancer that happens in men is caused actually by estrogen. So I understand that most times when people have prostate cancer, they will go for the tests and you'll be told that you have a higher amount of testosterone. Now, when did testosterone become harmful to men? That is a lie that has to be corrected in this. Testosterone cannot harm a man. High amounts of testosterone plus high amounts of insulin will give you high amounts of estrogen. That is when you get into the prostate cancer, the prostate enlargement, the man boobs, the hips. So now, if you have to reverse man boobs and all these conditions, what do? You reverse the entire process. However, the big pharma and your hospital are focusing on the symptoms. And this is where people are getting lured into all those supplements. So companies are coming out with supplements to help you boost your testosterone. Others, hospitals are coming up with testosterone shots to help you boost that muscle, to help you bring back your testosterone back to normal. Other companies are giving you patches, they're giving you supplements, and some hospitals are giving you surgery for the cancer and surgery for BPH and all these man boobs, the plastic surgery for man boobs. Are they solving the equation? They are not. They're actually focusing on the symptoms, but the real deal is here, and nobody's talking about that. So even if you continue getting that shot or those supplements for testosterone, yes, they have testosterone, but what are you doing? You're actually raising the amount of testosterone in your system, but you're not fixing this, and therefore that testosterone will of course be converted to estrogen, and you'll still go into the same process. That's why it will recur, and also it will even get worse. As you take that shot to help you clear man boobs, the boobs keeps on increasing in size for a reason, because you have not fixed insulin resistance that will stop that aromatase enzyme from converting your testosterone into estrogen, and therefore you'll get worse. So this condition is not fixed by drugs, by patches, by supplements. It cannot. It will get worse. This is fixed by blocking this. Once you block the carbohydrate intake, going into healthy keto diets will basically fix everything here. Reversing insulin resistance will fix everything here. So do not focus on testosterone and estrogen and forget about insulin resistance, because this is the cause of the problem. And in this channel, we encourage you to fix the cause and not the symptoms. Now, how do we fix this cause? Of course, we've talked about this several times, but here we do something called focus. So how do we fix this? Number one is exercise. High intensity interval trainings, HIIT. High intensity interval trainings. This is very important for a man because, one, this is anaerobic exercise. So you're denying your muscles oxygen. You start puffing, and once you get those muscles struggling to burn that fat, then you're getting a lot of help. Number one, also you're raising your testosterone level as you reverse insulin resistance. So once you raise this and then you reverse this, then of course this disappears. So exercise will help you cope with this situation, but above all, it will increase testosterone and clear insulin resistance, because now you're improving insulin sensitivity to the cells, and therefore improving glucose uptake by the cells and utilization. Number 2 has to be fasting. Now on fasting, 2 things involved. 1, you'll boost your testosterone. Number 2, you'll drop insulin resistance and you'll go into autophagy. And therefore fasting gives you 2 things, high testosterone and high growth hormone. Once you get a high growth hormone, then you get something called IGF-1. This is very important in activation of testosterone production. So this one can either block this enzyme or activate testosterone production. So these are very important, and that's why prolonged periodic fasts will help you clear insulin resistance, because now you will get to adapt to burning fat to give you energy, and then you will not be taking in carbohydrates because it's a fast. So once you do that, your body shifts from carbohydrate intake to burning fat. That will give you healthy energy for your body and your brain. Then again, you'll reverse insulin resistance and then get growth hormone and testosterone going up by 300%. Once you do that, then of course, man boob starts to disappear. Another one is, of course, healthy keto, because healthy keto is supposed to be number 1 on the list, because healthy keto will make you drop this. Because healthy keto is basically high protein diet, high animal fat, and vegetable diet. However, no carbohydrates completely. So healthy keto involves 0 carbohydrates, not even the complex carbohydrates. Once you do that, then this is reversed. Once you reverse insulin resistance, of course, testosterone starts going up, estrogen goes down, and you regain your manhood. Man boobs disappear. Then the sun, of course, to boost your testosterone. So all these others, both cold showers, sleep, and the sun, what they do is they just balance testosterone. They increase testosterone and they balance all other hormones. However, first of all, you have to reverse insulin, then go to boosting testosterone. So how do you reverse insulin? Fasting, exercise, and healthy keto. And once you do that, this goes back to normal, and then you can enjoy your sun, you can enjoy your sleep 8 hours a night, and then you can enjoy cold showers. Once you do that, testosterone levels go up, and that is how we reverse man boobs. So if you're enjoying these videos, please share these videos widely. We appreciate you for the support. Thank you so much for subscribing. If you're new here, there's so much information. This is a mini library. Kindly consider subscribing. Press that notification bell so that every time we have a brilliant idea about health, you become the first one to be notified.